Good evening, and welcome to the Newton County School System's first day, day one of our virtual learning overview. We are so excited about the 2021 school year, in spite of all of the challenges that we face as we gear up to start school on September the 8th. This evening, you'll hear from me. I'm Samantha Fury, the superintendent, and Dr. Adam Feil, who is our Director of Technology and Media Services. So the purpose of Newton's Parent Connect is to offer families opportunities to gain program information to help their students prepare for our virtual experience. We want everyone, all of our parents and students, to have a positive experience in our virtual learning environment. So each of the sessions are designed in the following manner. They are 45 minutes in length. All sessions are recorded and posted on the school system website for later access. Participants' voices are muted, so we can't hear what you're saying, but there will be a question and answer time provided at the end of this presentation and all presentations. So you can submit your questions at http://bit.ly/NCSS-parent. We really want to thank you for attending this session this evening and hope that you'll be able to join us for the rest of the week, where there'll be lots of new things introduced and lots of information shared. Again, if you have questions, you can submit them at the link that is on, I believe, below on the YouTube site. So we'll talk about preparing for a virtual learning experience. And so we've begun the process of picking up Chromebooks and hotspots from our schools. Today we've had our high schools for August 24th and 25th, and our elementary schools, again, August 24th and 25th, but they're also added August 26th as well. And then our middle schools will have the Chromebook device pickup and our hotspot pickup at your child's school on August the 26th and 27th. We'd like for you to participate in all of our Newton Parent Connect virtual information sessions. Today is the first series. We had a session at 10 o'clock this morning, and then again this evening that began at 6 p.m. Tomorrow, August the 25th, we'll hear from our curriculum and instruction leaders. On Wednesday, you'll hear from our student services team and our school nutrition team as well, and they will address the needs of our students and all the things that you need to know about school nutrition and food service during the time that we are virtually learning. On Thursday, August the 27th, you'll hear from our special education team. And on Friday, you'll hear from our student and family support team and our after-school program. So you'll learn about all the different options to help and support our students and families, and then what potential there is for after-school programming in a virtual environment. We'd love for you to participate in our Parent University, which is a digital tools training, which will take place Saturday, August the 29th. And we'll cover some really important topics that parents need to know about. Canvas, which is our learning management system. Infinite Campus, which is our student information system. My Launchpad, which is where you'll log in and all of the apps and things that your students will need will be housed. Zoom. And of course, internet safety and getting started for students, which is a resource page for parents and for students. Internet safety and getting started. In preparing for our virtual learning experience, there's some things that we'll need to complete. You'll need to complete the Getting Started with Virtual Learning checklist no later than August the 31st. More information will be shared about this checklist at the Parent University, and it will be posted, if it's not already posted, on our website for you to access. Continue to visit the Canvas Virtual Learning resources page for parents and students, and we will continue to update that page. Information will be provided with help with the virtual learning experience, including quick reference guides, tutorial videos, PDFs, and other things that are available to help make the transition to a virtual world a smooth transition. We really need for everyone to participate in our open houses. Our elementary schools will host open house on Monday, August the 31st, and you'll need to reach out to your school's websites to look to see information about how you can participate in the virtual open houses. Middle school will take place Wednesday, September 2nd, and our high schools will take place Thursday, September 3rd. Of course, we will start school virtually on Tuesday, September the 8th, 2020. In an effort to ensure that your questions are answered, we prepare to provide you with transparent, consistent communication. We understand that maintaining two-way dialogue is essential. And our public relations department, with most of you know Ms. Sherry Davis, she uses everything at her disposal: social media, our website, school messenger calls, and school messenger emails that are associated with messenger's calls. And on our website, if you have questions, our directors are here to help, and you can look at the topics on the first page of our website to find out who you need to talk to about specific issues you are encountering. Our school system approved calendar begins on September the 8th. And the last day of school for students is an early release day and takes place on June the 4th. In order to have a stop date of June the 4th, we've had to look at shortening the October break and the February break. And I think also Thanksgiving is only 3 days this year. But rest assured, I know everyone enjoys having a full fall break and a full Thanksgiving break, but these are uncertain times and different than what we've experienced in the past. And so we'll continue to prepare the 2021-22 school year calendar and look at how we can continue to offer our fall break and our midwinter break and a full Thanksgiving break. But during this time, we are working on this particular calendar. Who will participate in the virtual learning experience? Currently, all students will participate in a virtual learning environment until it's deemed safe for students to return using appropriate preventive measures and safety protocols. For example, when we return to in-person learning, one of the things that we've talked about and our board in collaboration with the school system administration determined on August the 18th is something that's critical, is that when students return to school, everyone will be mandated to wear a mask. Our students will, and our staff members. And we're already doing that. We already wear masks everywhere we go in our school system. And I will tell you that I had a wonderful visit with the Chief Medical Officer from Piedmont Newton Hospital, Dr. Little, and the CEO, David Kent. And we talked a lot about the hospital operations and how in the hospital they're treating COVID patients. And no employee of the hospital has encountered or contracted COVID-19, although they have been working with patients who are experiencing the mildest of symptoms and to the most gravely ill symptoms. But the one thing that they all have in common is that they're wearing masks religiously. They are not permitted to not have their masks on at the hospital. And the evidence that the masks are working is that the folks who work in the Newton Piedmont Hospital are not becoming ill with COVID-19. So with that being said, the school system is requiring everyone to wear masks on our campuses and on our school buses. And when we return to athletics, even in our stadiums, there will be mask mandates as well. We are working hard to get our kids back in school, and we need the help and support of everyone in our community. And that begins with wearing masks, social distancing, washing your hands, and using hand sanitizer when washing your hands is not practical. So one of those preventative measures is for us to use masks. How will instruction be delivered? We have option 2, which is a school-based model, and it is served by our Newton County School System teachers, and they use our curriculum maps, and they use virtual learning software to help with that. It requires use of technology and digital tools that are already available in our classroom, and the model leverages the strengths of our fabulous teachers and our staff in supporting the learning success of our students. The third option is a self-paced virtual academy model, and students in this model have the freedom to adapt their schedules to accommodate their other interests, and they receive instruction from the the platform we use, which is Edgenuity. No Newton County School System teacher will be providing students with direct teaching. The teaching is actually housed in the platform itself. It's also important to note that students who have selected option 3 in grades 6 through 12 are required to be there in that option for a semester. And that has to do with the way that students' grades are recorded, their credits, and the things that are required to be on their transcript. So option 3 is a semester-long commitment. When will the Newton County School System virtual learning experience occur? The virtual learning day will follow a daily class schedule, Monday through Friday. And so you can find samples of schedules on our website in the frequently asked question document. And there is a sample schedule for elementary students, a sample schedule for middle school students, and a sample schedule for high school students. But it's important to note that your children will need to listen to their teachers because those schedules will allow for modifications based on the needs of the class and the teachers. But generally speaking, what you'll find on our webpage is indeed the schedule Monday through Friday for all of our students who are virtually engaged, especially in option 2, which is the school-based model. A virtual school guide for parents. So one of the very most important things to do from the very beginning is to create a learning space that's comfortable and quiet. Establish a routine so that children are getting up early, they're getting to their work location, and they're ready to start school on time. And what we like for them to do is plan to log into the site about 5 minutes before school actually begins or before the class begins, just in case that takes a little extra time to get logged in. So we're asking that all of our students log in about 5 minutes early. One of the things that we want to make sure about, too, is that students realize that everybody can see them in the virtual environment. And so while some of our schools have students wear uniforms, uniforms aren't required in a virtual environment, but they do have to dress like they're going to school. And so we would like for students to wear the clothes that they would normally wear to school, given the fact that everyone can see them. Probably wearing pajamas and not being fully dressed is probably not a good option for our students. Maintain a balance when you're working in the virtual environment. Kids need to go outside and they need to play and they need to play games and do other things than be connected to the computer. Talk about what the kids are learning in their classes and ask questions about the content, and then have them think about what they learned throughout the day. If you have trouble, ask for support. Offset screen time with other activities, stay connected, and help your child find ways to connect to their friends and classmates. And of course, talk to other parents who have children in virtual school. Student expectations, of course, would be to be on schedule and make sure that you're on time. And on time is really about 5 minutes before you're scheduled to log in. Stay focused. Limit your distractions. Try to find in your workspace a very quiet space. There shouldn't be phones or pets or just any types of distraction, TV, music, and try to keep your device stationary. Put it on a hard surface so that it's not moving around, so that you can be seen and heard. Be engaged in your classes and in discussion. Keep your microphone on mute until it's your turn to speak, and make sure that your device is fully charged or plugged in and have everything you need nearby so that you are ready to go when we start class. If you have questions, please submit them at this link, http://bit.ly/NCSS-parent. With that being said, I'm going to turn the mic over to Dr. Adam Feil, our Director of Technology and Media Services.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ferry. Hey, everybody, we're really excited about all the virtual options that we're going to be able to offer your student this school year. And what we're going to do right now is just kind of talk about some of the resources that we have available to support virtual learning. And keep in mind, this is our first pandemic just like yours. So we're going to make sure that we can put the structures in place to support, but be patient with us as we're going to be patient with you as we embark on this endeavor. So today, we actually started our first deployment of our devices at schools. As Ms. Fury mentioned, we passed out devices at our elementary schools. We'll be doing that today. We're finishing up today. We'll be doing it tomorrow, and we'll also have some deployments on Wednesday. Our middle schools will follow the schedule, the 26th and the 27th, and high schools are deploying today, and we'll also deploy devices tomorrow as well. Now, during this time at our high schools, we'll just be deploying technology, but at our elementary and middle schools, you'll be able to also pick up your curriculum materials from your schools. So please check the website for each one of those, because they'll have specific times and locations for you to pick up those resources at each particular site. Our high schools, we did have a sign-up genius, and you were able to pick a time to pick up your Chromebook or hotspot if that was what you previously indicated that you needed from us. All right, and as was mentioned earlier, we're really excited about our Parent Connect. And these are going to be some virtual informational sessions that we're doing throughout the week to make sure that you have the knowledge and the information that you need in order to support your student as we begin our school year virtually. Now, one thing that I said earlier we're really excited about is going to be our Parent University that we're going to have this Saturday from 9 to 3 p.m. So it's going to be an all day. We're going to have 5 different sessions really covering on how you can support your student getting started. And also it's really good for the student to kind of see what to expect in a typical school day with this virtual learning. So this Parent University, what are we going to be talking about? Well, we're really going to be talking about Zoom, which is going to be that virtual platform that you're going to be utilizing to see your teacher in real time for that synchronous portion of your school day. And Canvas, this is, I always tell my team, this is like the glue that holds our learning together. This is our learning management platform. You may hear your teacher call this an LMS, learning management system. This is where all of the lessons that will happen, discussions, assignments, students will be able to post those. Teachers can also grade them and provide them real-time feedback to their grades. Now, this is one component we've been working furiously to get put together. This is My Launchpad. This is going to be your one-stop shop to access any and every resource that your child has available in the district. It's a single sign-on portal, so once they sign on to My Launchpad, they'll be able to access their resources with just one click. And Infinite Campus, I'm sure you've been able to access Infinite Campus, the parent portal, check out your child's grades and see what's coming up. That's a great resource that we will encourage all of our parents to utilize and students so you can know where your child currently sits as far as their academic progress goes into our school year. So I mentioned earlier, it's going to be 9 to 3. Now, we're not going to do it all day from 9 to 3, one long session. We're breaking these up into hour-long sessions, and each session will be the same session. So if you can't make the 9 to 10, we got you covered. Check out 10 to 11 or 11 to 12. Now we have to take a brief lunch intermission from 12 to 1, but after that we'll pick back up with 2 more sessions, 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. So make sure you pick one session is going to fit in your schedule and check it out. Now, if Saturday you're busy, you can't make it, I get it, things happen. Well, we're going to have these recorded, and just like you're watching this on YouTube, you can watch it on YouTube at any point in time and see any information that we're going to be providing at Parent University. Now, we're going to take it a step beyond that at Parent University, because we know sitting, getting it, that's okay, but you want to get your hands involved, get your hands dirty, if you will, with some of the things that we have. Well, we have some great parent resources. It's a link that's on our district website. And you can go, this is a Canvas course for parents, and you can kind of go through and see these various learning modules and learn a little bit more about what we have to offer. So our Newton Virtual Academy, or as a parent, if you want to see what Canvas looks like, how you can support your child, seeing what assignments they have, how do they upload something, how do they check for an upcoming Zoom meeting, you can easily do that through our Canvas portal. We have a training on how Infinite Campus works and ways you can support your students. And that thing I'm really excited about, My Launchpad. We're going to step you through how you can utilize My Launchpad. And yes, there is an app for that. And so how you can download those apps. And oh, I forgot to mention, there's an app for Canvas too. So you can use all these things on your mobile devices. So we are going to be providing devices for students that requested them, but you can also utilize your cell phones, your tablets to access many resources here in Newton County. One thing that now that everyone is going virtual, we have access to all this technology. We want to make sure that everyone is aware of our acceptable use policy and becoming and utilizing proper digital citizenship skills. So, we talk about cyberbullying, posting things that they shouldn't post, but we want to also highlight those positive things that our students are doing. We want our students to be consumers of content, but creators of content, but we want them to be responsible creators. So that acceptable use will show you how you can support your student and things that they can do. Now, we know we've been isolated from our friends for a very long time, but we want to make sure that you are covered. So we have resources in our social emotional learning component, that our SEL, you may hear people call it, that you can utilize to support your child during this uncertain time. And of course, we all could use a little help. So we have our help resources to point you in the right direction, so you can make sure that you have the resources that you need to support teaching and learning. Now, this is something that some of you may have received today from your schools. If you didn't, don't worry about it. As I said earlier, it's on the website, and we also are going to talk about this during our parent university this Saturday. But it's our Getting Started with Virtual Learning checklist. Because, like I said, this is our first pandemic. This is new to everybody. So we want to make sure that you have what you need to get started day one. We said before, we'll say it again, educational excellence for all. So we want to make sure that all students are able to access the resources they need. So those students who have a Chromebook, we have on this document the directions that you'll need in order to sign into that. And if you're new to the district and you're wondering, what's my child's username and what's their password? Well, we're giving you the information on how you can get started with that on this virtual learning checklist. Now, once you get started on your virtual learning checklist on this journey, the next thing is to launch My Launchpad. As I mentioned earlier, single sign-on portal. This is where all your information, all your resources that you're going to be utilizing, you can get to on My Launchpad. Now, once the student gets in My Launchpad, we would like for them to go to their Canvas class, and each one of your teachers have taken the time to create a Getting Started with Canvas assignment. And really, we want to make sure that you're able to access each and every course that you have on Canvas, and you understand how to submit an assignment. And your teachers will be grading your assignment, and if you haven't had a chance to check in before the start of school, they'll make sure they reach out to you to see if you have any questions, any problems, so we can get you up and running. And we also have a lot of our books that are going to be digital. So our elementary textbooks and secondary textbooks, we have the icons there. Those will be the same icons you'll see in My Launchpad. You can click on those to make sure you can access your textbook and resources. Because we know since you're going digital, you want to make sure that you have those resources. And we're just asking everyone to have this completed by August 31st. And if you have any questions on this document, now it's on a screen, so I don't really have a back of it, but on the back of the document that you're going to have, we will have our technology support information. We have a dedicated email address for every school to answer your technology questions. We also have a phone number that will be available next week, and it'll be available during the regular school day from 8 to 4, and we'll try to provide phone support to you as it relates. The email, we'll answer that one pretty much all day. We have people who are standing by. So if you have any questions as it relates to your technology, our technology team will be able to reply to you as fast as humanly possible. Realistically, we'll try to get all emails, all tech questions answered in 24 to 48 hours utilizing those various tools that we have there. So we're going virtual, as we said, and we're going to get started with our virtual open houses. Our elementary virtual open house will take place Monday, August 31st. And as I said earlier, make sure you check your school's website for details. Our middle school will be September 2nd, that's a Wednesday, and high school will take place Thursday, September 3rd. So, a lot of stuff we covered during that period of time. And I know you're probably going to have some questions for us. So if you have not already, I'm putting it up one more time. Go ahead and get those questions in utilizing the bit.ly that you see there. So we're going to have a brief transition, and we're going to start answering a few of your questions. So once again, there you have it right there. Go ahead and get those questions in. I was muted. That is going to be the phrase of the year. You're muted. So one thing I want to make sure that everyone knows, you can still put in your questions utilizing the link. If we don't get a chance to answer your question during this period, we'll make sure we go through the questions and then we post it on a frequently asked questions document that'll be shared on the website later. So the question that we have here, if we have any issues with our device after school starts, what do? We got you covered. As I stated earlier, each school has a dedicated email, and you have a phone support that'll be available through the hours of 8 and 4. That's going to be on the back of that checklist document for you, and it's also posted on the district website. So once again, make sure you check out those resources, and we are here to help you. Oh, this is actually a good one. There are many reports today about Zoom being down around the nation. Are you worried about Zoom not being able to handle the load for you? Well, I'm not necessarily worried about Zoom not handling the load that we're pushing out because this is a platform that's global. You've had a lot of companies, a lot of school districts that are utilizing this platform. But with any technology, anytime you're relying on services, there may be an outage. Whether you're talking about Zoom, Google, Microsoft, these things happen in the world of technology. I'm sure everybody, your power's gone out in your house. So we're not even talking about computers. Your power could go out. And why does it go out? Who knows? But you know what? It normally comes back on. So we do have structures in place. When these things go out, you may have an outage in your neighborhood and you may get disconnected from our Zoom meeting. We just want to make sure that parents and students know, just have that line of communication open with your teacher, and they'll be able to make exceptions. So we know things do happen and an outage may happen, but you know what? It happens in our classrooms, and our teachers are great at adjusting and adapting to those situations. So yes, an outage could happen, but we'll monitor it and we'll make sure that we take the necessary precautions that we can take to ensure that our teachers and students are able to connect to the resources that they need to. All right, someone was asking about class-wise. All right, in an earlier session, and this may have been somebody who watched it again, I talked about class-wise, and this is a really great feature that we have with our internet content filter. And basically what it will allow a teacher to do on our district Chromebooks, they can monitor the students' devices as they are in that class session. They can push out content. They can focus students on particular websites or topics that they want them to do, no matter where they are in the world. So this is a really cool feature that we have with our Chromebooks and allowing teachers to support student learning no matter where they are. And this is on all of our district devices. Now, this device that we're checking out to families, this is a school system property. This is something that your taxpayer dollars have paid for. So we want to make sure that we're keeping everyone safe on district devices. So we do monitor all traffic on all devices. Now, no one is cyber stalking people, but we definitely are making sure that students are doing using the devices for appropriate and necessary to their school functions. Now, with your personal devices to join class-wide sessions, students would have to sign into their Chrome web browser. And once they sign out of that Chrome web browser during that session, then they're no longer monitoring that screen. So there's nothing that's happening outside of the class period and time that the student is utilizing class-wise on their particular device. So personal devices, we're not monitoring what individuals are doing on their personal devices, and we're not monitoring them, especially outside of the time period that class is happening with your student. All right, this is a question. Parents, can parents have one account for Infinite Campus if they have more than one child? We have a parent portal, and you'll be able to access that if you are tied to that particular student, and you can access their child's information. We do have information on signing up for the parent portal. I keep saying this on our district website as it relates to our student information services, and there's a step-by-step guide to get you tied up to our parent portal and able to access your students. All right, someone's asking, with poor connectivity and lack of infrastructure for the east side of the county, how will attendance and lost instruction time be rectified? Will students be penalized? All right, as I stated earlier, we want to make sure that there is communication between the parent, teacher, student, And if there are any times where students are disconnected from the internet via an outage, whether it's a power outage, whether it's an internet service outage, we are going to take those into consideration. So we are ultimately making sure, as I said earlier, be patient with us. We're going to be patient with you because we are all working together to making the best out of a bad situation, really. So we're all going to be working together to make the most out of this. So if you are disconnected, no one will be penalized for attendance if they get disconnected from the internet. All right, someone was asking, do we have to bring computers to school for software updates? Here's the really great thing about the Chrome devices. They are internet enabled, so there's no updates that we have to push from our network to you. As long as you are connected to the internet, any updates that's allowable through the Google web services will be pushed to your device. So you don't have to worry about bringing those on site to get internet access. But the great thing about it is, as long as there is internet access, you can be connected. So if your child decides to go to Bread and Butter, or you decide to go to McDonald's or one of these places with internet Wi-Fi access, you can still take your device and connect to those internet components and still be safe, because we also still have that web filter that's going to be on each one of those devices. All right. Oh, Ms. Fury, I think we got a couple questions for you. I guess you guys are getting tired of answering questions. I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Fury. She has a couple of questions.
So the question is, if we go back to face-to-face instruction and positive cases start popping up, will we shut down again? Well, it's interesting that you asked that. This evening, we're going to release, and it's not out there yet, it will be, a document connected to our reentry plan for students who wish to be served in person. And once it's out there, you'll see a video of me. I'll be going through the document explaining the reentry process. And so the most important thing for everyone to realize is that the health and safety of our students and staff has to be the number one priority. And that means that I have to, with the team, my team and the medical professionals, look at what the data is telling us. And so I'm not looking for a specific number on any of the data pieces. What I'm looking for are trends. And if I see downward trends, if we notice that things in our community specifically, not the whole state, not what's happening next door, but what's happening within our community, if the trends are moving downward and then one day we happen to see an uptick in cases, we're still going to continue to look to see if that trend is heading in a downward motion. And so let's just say in a reentry plan, we may phase in a group of students at a time, and the students may be in the building as we're looking to phase in a second group. And if the case numbers are going up while we're ready to phase in a second group, we would leave the first group in there, but then we would delay the entry of the second group. And so our reentry plan will offer flexibility with being able to move students in and out of the school. Now, there could come a time, to be honest, that we are told to close schools all the way down, and we have to do that. And so children will have to go back home and resume the virtual environment. And so the question is, it could be that we would have to shut down again, but my hope is that we will not. And I keep going back to that same thing that I've been saying since July. If our community desires for students to be in school, we all have to work together. It's not just the school system staff. It's not just the parents of the children who we serve. It's not just the children in our system. It is the 112,000 residents in our community who must wear masks when we're out and about, as much as we hate them. I have mine here. And I hate wearing this mask, but I do it. And I do it because I want all of our kids back in school. The other thing I do is I maintain my distance. I stay 6 feet apart. I don't go to congregate settings. I'm not in a place where there's a bunch of people congregating for parties and baby showers and weddings. I don't do all of those things because unless I'm going to wear a mask and I'm able to keep that 6 feet of distance. And then finally, the other piece is washing your hands and using hand sanitizer. That is the only way that we will drive down the case numbers and the 14-day case rate, the rate of positivity, the 7-day moving average, the number of hospitalizations, the number of people who are going to the emergency room to seek care for COVID-19, all of which are data points that we look at. Additionally, if you look at the Harvard Global Institute COVID-19 dashboard, you'll see how we rank as a state, and then you can click on the state and it breaks it down into the counties, and you can see there the validation of the data that is supported or presented by the Department of Public Health. So as much as I would like to say yes or no to these questions, I need everybody to look at that data and look for the trends with us, and know that all the time, the goal for me is to bring children back to school. There is not a shadow of doubt that children are best served in classrooms with teachers. Do we have a timeline for when students who want to be in person will be available? Is this reviewed daily or weekly? So parents, stay tuned. I'm doing this now, so as soon as I get back to my office and upload the video, Ms. Davis has some press releases that will go out just a little while. And in there, you'll see some timelines, but just to give you a sneak preview, I will look at the data every single Friday. And if the numbers are trending down, there is a process to welcome groups of students back to school. And we start out, of course, by welcoming our students with disabilities who are in self-contained classrooms. And they would start out on September 8th. And so we're working to make sure that that is a possibility. The next target is September 21st. And there are some steps in between September 8th and the 21st. And the next group of kids would be pre-K, K1. In our middle schools, it would be grade 8. In our high schools would be our seniors. And that's a sneak preview of what will be posted shortly. So I hope you'll stay tuned and look at our plan and understand that we're working hard to get our kids back in school. I know you want them there, and believe me, I do too. Will children be penalized for not being properly dressed? If a parent is at work, how can we monitor what the child is wearing? Well, you can't monitor them when you send them to school either. And I know kids who have dressed one way, and when you've dropped them off at school, they've run into the restroom and changed into something different, and then miraculously changed back into it. And so no, parents, we're not going to penalize kids for their dress at home, but we need to help our students and children understand that everything that they're doing is recorded and it's live and other people can see it. And our discipline code of conduct, our student code of conduct, applies even in a virtual setting. So you wouldn't let your children come to school wearing things that don't follow our dress code. And so you want to help us encourage students, even in this virtual setting, to do the best that they can with dressing appropriately for a virtual environment, meaning just wear appropriate clothes, things that you would wear around your house that are comfortable but not exposing anything that shouldn't be exposed in a virtual setting. We will have to address that, and the teacher will call you as the parent to help make that correction. So no, we won't penalize you, but again, if we keep asking and asking and asking, there probably would be some other work that needs to be done with respect to how children are dressing in the virtual environment. Okay. That is the last question on this document, so I'm not sure if we have any others coming through. It doesn't seem to be going down, so I don't know if there's anything else. But while we're checking, we can... they're where? Okay, the other questions are okay. We've got different people in here. We're all looking at the different types of questions that are coming in. And I can just say, while I have your attention, I don't know if this matters to you or not, but one of the other announcements that will come out this evening will be related to athletics. And so just stay tuned, parents and family. We're doing everything we can to ensure that our students get the best service that they can in an environment that's safe for everyone, for the children and for our staff members who are concerned about becoming ill staff members in our buildings. And so we have to take that into consideration as well as we plan to resume school and plan to resume some of the activities that we stopped. But the good news is that we are seeing a downward trend in our community, and hopefully you'll help us continue that trend. With that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Feil.
Thank you once again, Ms. Ferry. And one thing we want to make sure everyone is aware, this is going on all week. We'll have multiple sessions, and I'm going to go back to the slide so everyone can see the various times that we'll be having sessions. Tomorrow we will have our curriculum and instruction starting at 10 a.m. and also at 6 p.m. Now, if you want to kind of get ahead of the game, if you go ahead and start putting in some of your questions now for curriculum and instruction, we'll make sure that they have those. They can also try to include them in their presentation, but they'll answer those tomorrow as well. And we do have school, student services, food and nutrition, special education, ASAP, which is our after school program, and family and student support. So if you want to make sure you get your question in ahead of time, utilizing that same link, you can get those questions in, and we'll make sure that they are going to be addressed by those speakers on those particular dates. So I'm going to go ahead and pull back up the link so you can see it again. And as I stated earlier, you can make sure you get those questions in tomorrow. Make sure you join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. for curriculum and instruction, where they'll be able to answer some of your questions as it relates to our three virtual learning, our virtual learning models, and what that will look like and what your student, pre-K and 12th through 12th grade student can expect in Newton County. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody. And as I said before, this is recorded, so you can watch it again and again. And the best part about it is the ending is the same. Have a great night, everybody.